Hi, How This Works listeners. It's Monday. It's not Tuesday or new episode Tuesday. I'm really hoping that catches on. And you might be wondering what I'm doing in your podcast feed, in your video player, and we don't have theme music playing and I'm not introducing anyone. Well, I have good news and I have bad news. Let's start with the bad news. The bad news is that our episode with Piper Payne will not be ready tomorrow, which is a drag. We just ran into some delays, nothing serious. But the good news is that it will be ready next week. So next week we talk to Piper, who's a mastering engineer out of Nashville, Tennessee, and we talk about everything from what she does as a mastering engineer. We talk about how vinyl records are made. She likens it to making waffles. It's a really succinct and cool description. We talk about NFTs and how they might help musicians and other artists get paid properly for their creative contributions and then better track their music. We talk about Piper's love of cheeseburgers. I mean, it goes all over the place, but it's a great conversation. And we're also coming to the end of season 1. For the last 2 episodes, after Piper, we have an episode with Sarah Sudhoff. She is an artist and photographer out of Texas. We recorded that conversation just today. And then for the last episode, we turn the tables. And instead of me interviewing someone else, it's actually someone interviewing me. And that someone will be Laura, my wife. And I am half terrified about the prospect of that. However, I'm also excited to bring that to you. I think it'll be a really cool episode. And I hope it will be anyway. And I also think that part of this process of making this show is about being curious, being open, trying new things. And that's really the germ of it. Part of the reason why I even thought to talk to someone like Piper, a mastering engineer, is because of a previous conversation with Selena Rosanbalm, who is a musician out of Austin, Texas. She recorded an album last year. And when we were talking about her making that record, we talked about writing the record. We talked about recording it, mixing it, and then mastering it. And I said, well, I don't know what mastering is. I've seen it on record liners. I've seen it in CD booklets, but I don't actually know what it is. And between the two of us, we didn't actually know what it entailed. And so I went out looking for someone who was a mastering engineer. And thankfully, Piper was gracious enough to say, yes, she would give us some of her time and talk to me. And it was great. As a last thing, I also want to say thank you. Thank you to everyone who's listened, who supported us. What began as the start of an idea last year around finding out more about topics generally in the world that we don't know much about or that I don't know much about. It just started in that way of a general curiosity. And I mean, it's been a crazy year for all sorts of reasons. Crazy time to work, crazy time to live, crazy time to do remote school, Zoom school, like all of these things that are happening in our lives. It's also a crazy time to make a podcast. But this is something that I felt really strongly about, and it felt like a unique thing in the world. And thankfully, with your support and with you all inviting me into your homes with the guests, my guests, I mean, in your headphones, in your cars, in your living rooms, all of those things, thank you. I really appreciate it. And looking forward to season 2. We've got some things planned in the break that are cool, so stay tuned for that. And I guess that's it. That's my punch list of things that I wanted to talk about today. And so I wanted to say we'll talk again soon. And by talk again soon, I mean we'll talk again next week. You'll listen to my conversation with Piper. And I hope you all have a great week. And that's it. Okay. Bye.